So this is my friend Kim, and I just wanted to share with everybody about how Kim has recovered from a diagnosis of MS/Lyme disease. And so Kim's story begins in her 20s, and in your 20s, Kim, you had some recurrent urinary tract infections.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So I was on about 100 courses of antibiotics from age 25 to 37. It started out with macrobid, and then I became resistant to macrobid, and then every time I was put on ciprofloxacin.
Wow, those are pretty powerful, and I'm sure that didn't help you how you were feeling.
No.
Now, during this time, what was your diet like?
I was pretty much eating the standard American diet. I was addicted to sugar, white flour, and dairy. And I rarely ate a vegetable.
Wow. Okay. So you had a lot of things going on. Okay. So 12 years of being on antibiotics year round, and then what happened in 2012?
Yeah. So my health went downhill really fast. I had chronic fatigue,
right?
Muscle pain everywhere, but mostly neck pain, like chronic neck pain.
I know what that's like. Yeah.
Numbness and tingling in my hands and my feet, and numbness in my face. My lips would twitch, my face would twitch, and then just the not being able to get out of bed, dizziness.
Right.
I couldn't focus to drive a car.
What was your family thinking?
Very scared, very frightened.
Yeah. Were you, like, when you went to your doctors, what were they saying?
They were very confused with my symptoms because I had so many. And then they kind of labeled me as multiple sclerosis because my brain MRI showed 8 lesions.
Okay, your brain MRI showed 8 lesions, but what was making them think it might not be MS?
My spinal tap was normal.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
So it was around this time that you decided that you were going to start looking to see what other diagnoses you might have, right?
Yes.
So you went to see a doctor, an MD, right? And what kind of doctor was this?
He was a Lyme literate doctor. It's called an LLMD.
Oh, I see.
He specialized in Lyme disease.
And he did some testing,
Yes.
I take it, and you found out that
I was positive for Lyme disease.
Okay.
Yes.
So what did he recommend?
They recommend 3 years of antibiotics.
Okay, so another course of
Yes.
heavy antibiotics. So you did start this heavy course of antibiotics.
I did.
And this was like 3 different antibiotics at the same time,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And you were on it for about a month.
Yes.
And what happened?
I started having bloody diarrhea, and it was very frightening.
Yeah, that's hard.
And so I said, I don't believe antibiotics are going to be for me.
Right.
So I sought out a naturopath.
Okay, and I think you had told me that the naturopath did help you because you were doing a lot of herbs.
A lot of herbs.
And some other alternative
Yes.
types of therapies, including hyperbaric oxygen and things to boost the immune system. So, and you started feeling better.
Yes.
And no urinary tract infections.
Correct.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And was your diet improving?
So I had tried to do better with diet. I cut back on sugar. I was gluten-free. I was told to stay away from corn and soy, which was hard because that was in everything we had in the house.
Right. So I think, you know, the first time I talked with you, you had said that you were doing better, but like maybe once a month you might have a pizza.
Right.
Or once a month you might have a hot
Ice
dog or
cream.
something. Like, you know, like a veggie dog
Like a
or
veggie
something.
dog, yeah.
Or an ice cream. And so it's like you're not having too much of any one thing.
Right.
But like it's like I think people don't even grasp how often they cheat, right? Because
Yes.
if it's a different thing every single time, then you're like, I don't have pizza all that often.
Yeah.
But then it all adds up, right?
Yeah.
So around this time, you went to another lifestyle center,
Yes.
and they were teaching you how to do what?
So they taught me how to prepare raw food and soaking nuts, sprouting buckwheat, and when I went there and I learned how to detox and to prepare healthy, nutritious food, they gave me a goal when I got home. So 4 months, nothing out of a can,
Okay.
nothing out of a box, no eating out, which was hard because I was addicted to eating out because it's convenient.
Yes.
And it tastes good.
Yeah.
And and then just eating raw fruits, veggies, nuts, and seeds.
And how was that for you?
So I had to pray for the willpower to get through that, because during those 4 months, if you make one mistake, you have to start your 4 months over. And I didn't want to do that. So I stuck with it. So for 4 months, I did it with the help of my family and a lot of prayer. And after that, I didn't have any symptoms.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is neat.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 months of doing that. And so what we're getting from this is the importance of being consistent. And the importance of, like, you know, some people think, well, I'm off of whatever, you know, maybe gluten, but maybe once a week or maybe once a month even they will quote unquote cheat, right? And I think that they don't recognize how they're sabotaging what they're trying to do.
Correct.
So we just want to, you know, state the importance of being consistent, right?
Yes.
So for you, how have you been since then? It's been 4 years.
Yes. So I will say I tried to add back in corn and soy, and I couldn't.
Yeah, so your doctors were right.
Yeah, I would have some symptoms come back.
Yeah, I think that so much of it, I mean, over 90% of that stuff is genetically modified, and we don't know how it affects the system really, you know, because the studies that have been done with it have been very short term. And so, I mean, like, who's to say the exact reason for why so many people are having food sensitivities nowadays, but we're just trying to come up with some reasons for why it might be, and I think it's a reasonable thing to look at what's happening in industrialized agriculture. So you've been sticking with your diet pretty much. Yes. And I hear now you're teaching other people how to eat.
Yes.
You're teaching people about, like, how to have a healthy lifestyle. You're doing cooking classes there in Idaho.
Yes, and we also incorporate some fasting.
What? Yes. Intermittent fasting, right? I totally believe in that as well. And so, well, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. You've been in remission now for
almost 3 years.
3 years. Praise the Lord.
Yes. So you can heal your leaky gut.
Yes.
But you do need to be consistent.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's worth it not to have any symptoms.
And not to be on medications and to have your life back.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Kim.
Yeah, thank you.